MiamiRollerDerby.com, in conjunction with 247Miami.tv, is proud to present Rink, Rash Radio. 60 minutes of everything roller derby in the 305. Visit MiamiRollerDerby.com for more information on upcoming bouts and events. And now, Rink, Rash Radio.
Welcome to Rink, Rash Radio. I'm your host, Shakespeare.
I'm Anger.
And we're talking WFTDA D2 playoffs today. We're going to have a breakdown by Anger, not only on the Wolf the playoffs, which are kicking off or have kicked off this weekend, but also a recap on Frankie Panky. And we got a couple of cool guests, Mary Lou Wretched, she's a jammer, and Annie Mall, the coach for the Kansas City Roller Warriors. So they'll be on a little bit later on today's episode. And so we're going to be trying to follow the skaters and coaches and people behind the WFTDA playoffs. We're hoping to catch up with the Santa Cruz Roller Girls next week after their performance this weekend in Cleveland. Last week we had Erica Vanstone from the WFTDA Live. She's the director of the broadcasting operations there. And, she was telling us about the ESPN3 announcement, how they're going to be streaming the last day of the championships. So that's, there's a lot of stuff going on. Really, really exciting in the world of roller derby. Stay tuned. We will have more with the Kansas City Roller Warriors. But now we're going to talk about some breakdowns and some recaps, kind of just what's going on or what's happened in Derby. Anger, kick it to you.
Yep. Well, first I'm going to talk about a couple games that are happening today. In Florida, there's the Dub City Derby Girls versus the South Florida Roller Girls.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that'll be today at Palm Beach Skate Zone, which is 8125 Lake Worth Road. Doors open at 7. Game starts at 7:30.
I like that we have the address now.
Yeah. Figured that out. And then a little earlier than that, so if you want to drive really fast and not get a ticket, there is another game. Braden Tucky Bombers are playing Deadly Rival.
Okay.
At 5 o'clock.
Is it bank track or flat track?
Flat track.
Nice. Okay.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure it's flat track.
Yeah, because it's Astro Skate, so that's flat track.
Okay.
So yeah, they'll be playing today at 5 at Astro Skate. It's 3611 3rd Street West, Bradenton, Florida.
It's gonna be exciting to see them kick off their bank track season.
Yeah.
And we'll see how that goes.
And then that's basically it for the games happening today.
For Florida games today.
Yeah, last weekend was Frankie Panky. Which had quite a few interesting happenings. Like the Tampa travel team basically came through undefeated.
Whoa.
They beat Richland by almost 600 points. The Richland County Regulators, they beat Dub City by about 400 points.
Wow, they swept.
And Tallahassee by about a little under 500 points.
That's insane.
Yeah. So they just basically
they totally
destroyed every team. Fort Myers beat Tampa's B team.
Okay.
By about 100. Molly beat Tallahassee.
Molly Roger.
It was a very close game though. It was only like 9 to 11 point difference. And
those games are fun.
Yeah.
And they're real close like that.
And then the Richland County Regulators was another close game with Molly Roger where Richland came out on top. So, everyone, a couple of teams here and there had their wins against their other teams, but Tampa basically took it. Yeah. I mean, which good for them. It is their
event.
It's their event, their B team didn't, quite take it, but they did hold themselves pretty well against Fort Myers. So, but their A team definitely.
Go Tampa.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mary Chaos.
And then
so what's going on in Cleveland, man? Because that's kicked off this weekend.
Yeah, that's
we started the first weekend of Wolf the playoffs.
Yeah, it started yesterday, and some pretty close games yesterday. Like the whole morning was basically full of just close games. St. Chuck's and Brandywine. Brandywine basically, I was cheering for them because they were taking it for a while, and then St. Chuck's just kind of came and put it out on top, and by 9 points they ended up winning.
Yeah. You also like the name Brandywine.
I
so I
do.
think you were going for Brandywine.
Well, I mean,
yeah, Brandywine.
But they were doing well too.
It sounds like a mix between brandy and wine. That just sounds like a good thing.
Well, it's so
a good
like
time.
Like I'm a fantasy person, so I'm just like, that sounds like something you drink at like a fantasy pub. Like, like to have a cup of Brandywine, please. I don't know. Weird. Anyway, then Jet City played Oklahoma. Victory Dolls, and that was another close game by about 30 points. Oklahoma took it. Columbia and Houston played. Columbia, a lot of people thought Columbia was going to come out on top over Houston, and Houston ended up taking it by a good 50 points or so.
Nice.
Which go Houston. I was really excited about that. Kansas City, who we're having on later today, beat St. Chuck's by about 60 points.
Nice.
Yeah. Santa Cruz played the Oklahoma Victory Dolls and just took that game. And as the games got later, the distances got greater. So it was 256-90 for that one, with Santa Cruz coming out on top. And then Treasure Valley versus Demolition City. Demolition took it by a good almost 200 points.
Yeah.
And now, right now, it's Brandywine versus Treasure Valley happening, and Brandywine and Treasure Valley are actually just neck and neck. Brandywine was taking it, and then Treasure Valley got those 2 points over, and then Brandywine got those 2 points over that. So it's very back and forth. Cool. It's a close game. As of right now, the score is 93-88 with Brandywine in the lead.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
Well, I hope Brandywine takes it since they lost against St. Chuck's.
Well, also just because
Brandywine.
Although Treasure Valley, I think, has that cool pirate theme, which I do like pirates. So that's a tough choice. And then my prediction winner for this tournament is going to play Kansas City later tonight.
Houston.
Yeah, Houston. They're going to play at 8:00. So Kansas, as much as I love you guys and as much as I appreciate you coming on our show, Houston.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of buzz going on right now. I can imagine what it's like to be in a tournament. And so we're going to be talking with Kansas City about, like, what are people saying? What's that feeling? What's your mental game? What do you go into a tournament with? And you got to leave it all out there. So that's going to be exciting to watch. Yeah. We have some other games lined up.
The games for today are, after the Brandywine Treasure Valley is going to be Jet City versus Columbia.
Yep.
Which is going to be interesting. Santa Cruz versus Demolition. Oklahoma versus whoever wins the Brandywine Treasure Valley game.
Okay.
And then St. Chuck's versus whoever wins the Jet City Columbia game.
And then Houston and Kansas City Roller Warriors. So we're definitely gonna be talking to Kansas City. They played a game last night against St. Chuck's. They won, and then now they're gonna be playing a game tonight. And they told me they're looking to go into champs. They're looking to get in there and I mean, obviously, right? Like, all the teams want to do that, but so Mary Lou Wretched, we're gonna be talking to her. She's a jammer. She's coming up first, and she's the jammer for the Kansas City Roller Warriors All-Star team. She's a 4-year vet of that league and was captain of the All-Star team last year. And she previously skated with Springfield, Missouri, and this is going to be her 4th WFTA tournament. So that's going to be exciting. So she's a seasoned vet. We're going to talk to her. Now, Kansas City, Mary Lou was telling me, they've gone to tournaments every year, but moved to D2 this year because they played against some tough teams last year.
Yeah.
They played against Gotham, Rose City, Denver, Rocky Mountain. So they've got some history. So they made it to D2, and now we're going to be talking to Mary Lou in a little bit, and then we're going to be talking to Annie Mall. Now, Annie began in 2005. And she had no prior skating experience, and she was a Rydell superstar and was a member of their all-star team when they won the 2007 WFTA championship. So they got a championship under the belt. Can they take the championship this year? So we'll have a little bit more with them.
Well, even though they're D2 now, they're still pretty high up there. They're only a couple of spots away from being D1. So I mean, they're one of the top teams to look out for just because of how hard they are in the rankings, because they're ranked 45 and D1 is the top 40 teams.
Oh, so they're right there.
Exactly. And I think actually because of a couple of like sit outs in D1, I think D1 goes to like 41, 42 even. So they're like two or three away less than 5 away from being in D1. So even though there might be D2 now, they're still.
And they kicked it off with the win last night against St. Chuck's.
A good win too.
You know,
a good 61-point win.
So I mean, this weekend could be a very rewarding one, let's say, and moving up in the rankings for them.
Yeah.
I did want to give a shout out. We had a very special fan message us on Facebook from Stockholm Roller Derby.
Yep.
Apparently, she's watched all of our episodes, which is really, really exciting. So shout out to Lil Slinky. Lil Slinky, we love you. Shout out from Stockholm Roller Derby. Thank you so much for watching.
Yep.
And you keep us motivated, you keep us inspired to do what we do. Next up, we're gonna have some more breakdowns, and then we'll be talking to Annie Mall and Mary Lou Wretched from Kansas City Roller
Speaking of
Girls.
Stockholm, we're gonna be talking about them soon too, because they're in playoffs.
They're in playoffs right now.
Yeah. Well, they'll be in D1 playoffs. So we'll be
Lil
talking
Slinky,
about them in a couple weekends.
we want you on the show. All right. Stay tuned for more Rink Rash Radio.
Vice City Rollers, inviting you to tune in to Rink Rash Radio on 247miami.tv. New shows every Saturday at 9 p.m.
with encore replays Monday at noon and 10 p.m., Tuesdays at 10 a.m.
and Wednesdays at 10 a.m. and again at 10 p.m.
Find out everything you've ever wanted to know about roller derby in the 305.
Get the 411 on the women's team,
The men's team,
and even the juniors.
Rink Rash Radio.
Rink Rash Radio
Rink Rash Radio.
on 247miami.tv.
Who's George West?
One man trying to make sense of a world gone totally cray-cray. If you don't listen to the George West Show, the terrorists win. His staff consists of a team of rocket scientists fired from NASA and a room full of untrained monkeys.
On Saturdays and Mondays at 8 p.m.
Hey, I'm John Carlos Fan, and you're on 24/7 Miami.
Do you know why we pulled you over?
Was it because I was speeding?
No. It's because you weren't listening to the
Ladies, are you looking to spice up your next bachelorette party? Then take a ride on the Magic Stick. It's a free male escort stripper service. The hottest one in Miami. The Magic Stick. Call today to request one of our professionals. Justin Trouser Stick.
It's my bikini box.
Brad.
You want to Tyler my Durgan?
Clint always would.
I got a 44 Magnum in my pants.
Hunk Norris.
I approve this message.
And Abraham Lincoln.
4 scores and 20 lap dances ago.
The Magic Stick. Available now, anytime on 247miami.tv. We'll be waiting.
I love Miami.
This and every Friday, Metal and Mayhem. I am your host, Craig Cook. Heard live every week here on the 247 Miami Radio Network. Hit 247miami.tv, part of the Zombies Don't Sleep crew. Friday, 10 p.m. until we quit. Join me for Metal and Mayhem.
There has been some resistance. I think it's because, women finally found a sport to call their own. We have basketball and football. I mean, girls have come into that, but we've started it and, we kind of made it our thing. So, women finally found something to call their own. And I think they just feel like some of us are trying to come in and to take over it. But we don't want to take over it. We're trying to follow your footsteps because we aspire to be you guys.
By skaters, for skaters. You're listening to Rink Rash Radio on 247miami.tv.
Welcome back to Rink Rash Radio. This is we're talking the WFTDA D2 playoffs. We got a couple of exciting guests coming on today's show in just a little bit. We got Mary Lou Wretched from the Kansas City Roller Warriors. She's a jammer for their team. We've also got the Annie Mall, their coach, who's going to be on. But first, there is some more exciting news in the Derby world because it is playoff season. We do have Detroit coming up next weekend.
Yes.
And there's some
Detroit.
interesting matchups going up against that. So, Anger, why don't you break it down for us?
All right. Well, I've got, again, 3 breakdowns. One via me, one via Disaster Chief, and one via Flat Track Stats, which is just basically the database where all the stuff goes.
Before we get hold that thought for a second. So for people who are interested in following along,
yes,
they could send us their predictions and we can read them on the show and see how they match up.
Sure.
All right. So message us, tweet us at Rink Rash Radio, follow us on Facebook, leave us a message or a comment. We'll read it on the show.
Hold on, I want to say something. I know.
Yeah. All right, Lewis is
Not
saying
allowed to talk.
something. Let's go, Chacon. What you got, man?
I know. Segment 2, I say something. No, I like that. I want to see that. I want to see what people think about who's going to win the tournament.
Exactly.
It's going to be me. Just throwing that out there right now. I'm going to win every tournament.
Smack talk already.
Just me out there skating by myself. Every tournament.
And I mean, I don't know if we're going to have something posted or
You're
something.
be a jammer or a blocker?
Both.
Because I see you have that paper there, and I want to share that with the folks. So we're going to have it on the website.
All right, we can put up the bracket. We can put up the bracket, and people can
the
comment.
blank brackets are on WIFTO. We can share that.
Yeah.
Or the WFTA has them on there.
Okay.
We'll do it right now. Meanwhile, Anger breaks it down. And then if you guys got some comments, you guys got some predictions, tweet at us or message us on Facebook, and we'll read that on the show.
So I'm gonna start with my own predictions.
You're gonna break it down.
Because these are the predictions that are like, haha, I like them. Which are
this is Detroit, right?
Yeah.
For next week.
Yes.
All right.
So basically, for next week, the teams that are going to be playing, we've got, I'm going to go based on their seed. So basically best to worst via rankings. We've got Nashville. We've got Sacred City. We've got Emerald City, which is Emerald. We've got Naptown Roller Girls, Wasatch Roller Derby.
Wasatch.
Yeah. Chicago Outfit Roller Derby. Boulder County Bombers, Sac City Rollers, Brew City Bruisers, and Bear City Roller Derby. I do love Brew City Bruisers. Little logo though. It
You
looks
like some bruising?
well. It looks like the parental advisory logo that we put on CDs. It's kind of cool.
right.
So those are the 10 teams that will be playing next weekend. So basically, my breakdown for that is I'm kind of hoping Emerald's going to come out on top, just because I love Emerald and I want them to win. Yeah, I was gonna say, just
I got Emerald.
flash your boobs at the camera.
We got this at the Beach Brawl.
Yeah,
I went shirt crazy.
Yeah, I got this one at Beach Brawl, but
North Texas
unicorn.
Is a unicorn. Yeah.
So
because diamond.
Yeah,
you know.
So Emerald, I'm hoping Emerald, even though their seed 3 will come out on top. I'm thinking after that, second place is probably going to be Nashville. Their seed 1. And Sacred has been doing really well. They're seed 2. I'm thinking, well, I put them as 3rd, but they might come out a little higher because they've been doing really well lately. And then for 4th, I've got Naptown. 5th, Chicago. 6th, Brew City. 7th, Bear City. 8th, Wasatch. 9th, Sac City. And 10th, Boulder County.
All right. So what are your top 3?
My top 3 are Emerald, Nashville, and Sacred.
All right.
So then, after that loveliness, we've got the Flat Track Stats version
of their predictions for Detroit.
Yeah, which is just basically the
based on rankings or based on what? Based on like their scores against other teams, like
yeah, it's based on like their recent scores against other teams, against the team they'll be playing, like if they've played them before, their score there. So I mean, it's a good representation of what could happen, but it's not perfect,
right,
obviously.
No, of course, it's like a meteorologist
Yeah.
and predicting the weather. You
Right.
know, you can only predict so much.
Yeah. So their predictions are going to be Sacred coming out on top, Nashville coming in 2nd, Emerald 3rd, Naptown 4th, Boulder 5th, Sac City 6th, Chicago Outfit 7th, Wasatch 8, Brew City 9, and Bear City 10. So their predictions aren't too far from mine. They have the same top 3.
Same top 3, yeah.
Just flipping Sacred and Emerald. Their 4th is the same as my 4th.
Okay.
And then the rest are kind of a little mixed up, but pretty close to what I had put. So for this one, it doesn't look like I'm too far off the predictions
Right.
listed.
What's Chief got?
So Chief, of course, has the most detailed one.
Of course you do, Chief.
So, I mean, like, he's got every game broken down. Basically, I'll just do the last few for places.
Okay.
Just so we have an idea. So basically, in order for the last few games, because his final predictions, I'll say those first so that we understand where we're going with this.
Okay.
Is Sacred first, Nashville second, Emerald third. So his top 3 are the same as Flat Track Stats top 3.
Okay. Just in a different order.
Yeah. Naptown fourth. So basically, everyone has Naptown coming out fourth.
All right. So Naptown's the team to watch. See where they do.
Chicago fifth.
Okay.
Which is the same as mine. Brew City sixth, which is the same as mine. Bear seventh, same as mine. And then his last 3 are a little mixed of mine. He has Boulder, Sac City, and Wasatch, whereas I had Wasatch, Sac City, Boulder.
Okay.
So, I mean, we all seem to have fairly close representations of what will happen. For me, Sacred has a really good chance of getting to that first place that, him and Flat Track Stats are predicting.
Mm-hmm.
My only thing is I kind of knew Nashville would come in second, but I'm really hoping Emerald comes in first.
Okay.
So if that happens, that would make Sacred come in third. But I don't know how likely that is. That's more just, my hopefulness for Emerald City. So basically his breakdown is, because the last few games, in order to do 9th and 10th place, would be Wasatch versus Sac City. And his prediction for that is that since both of them will have done like the whole tournament by then, they're both going to be pretty worn out. But Sac City has just a little bit more of an edge.
Did you say Sac City?
Sac City, SAC.
Okay.
Okay. No, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Sac City has just a little bit more of an edge to go above Wasatch. For the 7th and 8th place, it would be Boulder versus Bear, which they had already, if his predictions stand, they play each other in like the first or second game of the weekend. So they'd be doing a rematch in the tournament.
Interesting.
So if it stands, it would, because his prediction for Boulder versus Bear the first time is for Bear City to come out on top. And so he predicts that, if they continue and if it goes well, they'll probably come out on top again.
All right. Well, definitely, we got a few teams to watch there.
Mm-hmm.
I just posted on our Facebook page the bracket.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have predictions that you want to chime in on, let us know and we'll read them on the air.
Yeah. So then 5th and 6th place would be Brew City versus Chicago, which they both have just really cool looking logos. Chicago kind of has that like Godfather logo because they're Chicago outfit, and Brew City has that, parental advisory logo.
No, I have a question.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
How do these teams get set up into these brackets or into these tournaments? Is there, because I'm not familiar with the sport and how everything is set up, and the only thing I can see is if it's all the way up to November, there's a different tournament every weekend.
Yep.
Right.
I'm just thinking, to what I understand, is like the NCAA setup for the men's and women's basketball,
which I know nothing about.
Blank stares from both of us.
You have to be a little more specific.
Well, how do these teams get set up to be the rankings to
Yeah.
be number one in every single like?
They play.
Well, basically, it's
on their season
the
records.
top. It's like the tops. Yeah, it's
based on their season.
starting in July.
Okay.
They start every game they play that's sanctioned.
Okay.
By WFTA or the WFTDA is counts towards their rankings for the next playoffs.
Okay.
So even these games they're doing now in playoffs, will count towards their rankings for next playoffs.
Next year or when?
Well, because it ends June 30th.
Okay. So
the June 30th rankings are basically what decide how playoffs are set up.
That's what sets up what weekend you're playing in what city.
Right.
I understand now. Okay. So they do have some top teams.
Yeah.
In this one, or at least the top of this one.
Right, because it's the top team for next weekend is going to be Nashville, and they're ranked 43, and then the lowest team is going to be Bear City, and they're ranked 61.
Okay.
Right.
So
now,
it's
these
just
are
like a
D2.
mix up. Yeah.
So there's like second tier. so to
Yeah.
speak. And then there's Division
There's
One,
Division
which is
One.
the top 40 top 40 teams.
And where can someone watch all these games, these bouts?
WFTDA.tv.
Okay.
Yeah, they're
Which we had Erica on talking about.
Yeah, last weekend. And she talks about the different packages because I know.
Oh, they charge for this?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like a
for
pay-per-view.
playoffs, yeah.
But it's not like $80 for a pay-per-view.
No, yeah,
it's
the
like
division
10, 12.
Yeah,
and
the
then they have
Division
different
One, there's like a
packages.
package where you can watch all the Division One and championships. And then for Division Two, there's only 2 weekends. You have to buy each weekend separately, and I think it's like 12
10 or $12, yeah.
It's $12
okay.
each weekend.
Okay.
Right.
It's not-
And you
Which
get
is
like
like a derby
17 games each weekend. So
Yeah.
you're paying $12 for watch 17 games.
Yeah, because you told me that. I mean, you're off the air before you told me that the bouts start at 10 o'clock in the morning.
And the first bout is at 10 in the morning, and the last bout's about 8. And then Sunday they end a little bit earlier because they don't play as many games.
So yeah, you could be sitting all day there watching and seeing these two different all these teams compete and where they rank. And okay, I understand now. So then the best week is what, the last week of the, which is.
Well, there's the 6
Mhm.
that are happening now. There's the first 2 are Division 2.
Okay.
And then the next 4 are Division 1. And then once they decide the top 3 teams
Mhm.
from each weekend,
Okay.
they move on to championships, which is like 2 weeks to like a month after the division playoffs happen.
Okay.
And then they play each other in like a bracket at playoffs to decide, the championship first, second.
Now, out of some of these teams, have you watched them before? Have you seen them before play? Or?
Yeah, like Emerald City, when we went to Beach Brawl up in Fort Lauderdale, they played there.
They do tournaments like in different locations.
Yeah.
And that was the one in
Yeah,
Fort Lauderdale.
they had quite a few teams that are being playoffs there. They had
well, they had the lead roller dolls who were there, who had
Leeds,
visited us.
yeah,
Leeds came, and they did really, really well. Stockholm, I think, was there too.
Stockholm, I think, was one of the ones that was there.
So they get together, do tournaments and stuff like that to help their rankings.
Okay.
But I do have an update for you guys. We're actually for Kansas City Roller Warriors. They're on the next segment, but we are actually in Annie Mall is not going to be able to make it. But we are going to have Bruise Her, who's been a Kansas City Roller Warrior All-Star for 10 seasons and was also on the team when Kansas City won the 2007 WFTA Championship. And she is sponsored by Antic. So we'll be talking to her instead in just a couple of minutes. So just to kind of touch back on our guest, we have Mary Lou Wretched. If you're just tuning in, Mary Lou Wretched is from Kansas City Roller Warriors, who are playing in the Division II playoffs tonight against Houston Roller Derby. So that's going to be an interesting match. And they played last night and beat St. Chuck's. So way to go, Kansas City. So we're going to be talking to Mary Lou Wretched, who's a jammer for the All-Star team. Been playing the game for 4 years, and she used to skate with Springfield. And then we're also going to have, we're not going to have Annie Mall. We're going to have Bruise Her, who has been Kansas City Roller Warrior All-Star for 10 seasons. So a true seasoned veteran. And she also was on the team when they won the 2007 WFTA Championship. So we're going to talk about championships, what it takes to get there, and then their mental game. So stay tuned. We're going to have more with the Kansas City Roller Warriors currently in Cleveland for the Division II playoffs.
Yeah, I still had
Rash Radio on 247miami.tv.
New shows every Saturday at 9 p.m. with encore replays Monday at noon and 10 p.m., Tuesdays at 10 a.m.
And Wednesdays at 10 a.m. and again at 10 p.m.
Find out everything you've ever wanted to know about roller derby in the 305.
Get the 411 on the women's team,
the men's team,
and even the juniors.
Rink Rash Radio.
Rink Rash Radio.
Rink Rash Radio
on 247miami.tv.
Who's George West?
One man trying to make sense of a world gone totally cray-cray. If you don't listen to the George West Show, the terrorists win. His staff consists of a team of rocket scientists fired from NASA and a room full of untrained monkeys.
On Saturdays and Mondays at 8 p.m.
Hey, I'm Giancarlo Stan, and you're on 24/7 Miami.
Ladies, are you looking to spice up your next bachelorette party? Then take a ride on the Magic Stick. It's a free male escort stripper service. The hottest one in Miami. The Magic Stick. Call today to request one of our professionals. Justin Trousers.
It's my bikini box.
Brad.
I'm here. Are you there?
Tyler, my dirty.
Okay.
Always would. I got a photo for Megan in my pants.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Abraham Lincoln.
4 scores and 20 lap dances ago.
On 247miami.tv. We'll be waiting.
I love Miami.
This and every Friday, Metal and Mayhem. I am your host, Craig Cook. Heard live every week here on the 247 Miami Radio Network. Hit 247miami.tv, part of the Zombies Don't Sleep crew. Fridays, 10 p.m. until we quit. Join me for Metal and Mayhem.
Zone out a little bit and not psych yourselves out too much.
Well, I had ref for a local team back in Tennessee, and then started helping out with Nashville and learning a lot of stuff reffing from Major Woody. and we ended up meeting up online, and then met through a bunch of close Derby friends, and one thing led to another, and now she's my wife.
Back to the show before the fresh meat gets rotten. You're listening to Rink Rash Radio on 247miami.tv.
Welcome back to Rink Rash Radio. If you're just tuning in, we've been talking about the Division II playoffs currently going on right now in Cleveland, Ohio. And we're going to be talking to Mary Lou Wretched from the Kansas City Roller Warriors in just a second. But first, we wanted to wrap up Detroit for next weekend, those predictions, because that's going to happen on next weekend. And if you have predictions, if you have some games or that you want to share, comment on Facebook. We just posted the bracket, or tweet at us at Rink Rash Radio, and we'll gladly share that on the show. So you want to recap those real quick before we get online with Mary?
We've only got three more.
Three more. Let's do it.
For 5th and 6th place, like I was saying, Brew City versus Chicago. Even though Chicago's ranked a little higher, so that even though Brew City beat Chicago in spring roll by a bit, because they play an extra game earlier, they'll probably be a little tired. So Chicago will probably take it because it was a close game, even the win they took at spring roll. For Emerald City versus Naptown, they predict Emerald coming out. Just from the last season that they've had, they've done really well, so they should just keep riding that high and take the win against Naptown. And then for 1st and 2nd place would be Sacred versus Nashville, with Sacred coming out on top because of their momentum at the end of the season and throughout the tournament and everything.
All right. So Detroit next weekend, top 3 teams you think are likely to win.
Yeah. Well, I did mine first. Those
okay. Just to recap, if someone
top is Emerald, Nashville, Sacred City, Naptown, Chicago Outfit, Brew City, Bear City, Wasatch, Sac City, Boulder City.
In that order.
Yeah. His top are Sacred City, Nashville, Emerald City, Naptown, Chicago Outfit, Brew City, Bear City, Boulder, Sac City, and Wasatch.
A lot of games happening.
And just an update, the second half of Brandywine versus Treasure Valley started, and Brandywine is now leading with 132 to 119. So
nice. Go Brandywine. We just love your name, Brandywine. You can wine and brandy us all night. I had to go there. I'm sorry. So without much further ado, we have our special guest on the line, Mary Lou Wretched, a jammer for the Kansas City Roller Warriors All-Star team, 4-year veteran of the league, captain of the All-Star team last season, and she previously skated with the Springfield Roller Girls. This is her 4th WFTDA tournament. Wretched, say what's up.
Hey, how is
all right. Now, I'm excited to talk to you because you're in Cleveland right now.
Indeed. Yes, I am.
Quite literally, you played last night. You guys had a win. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, your name blew up my Twitter feed because I'm getting all the Twitter updates every 5 seconds from like everything happening, and it's just like all day yesterday after 4 o'clock. It was just like Mary Lou Retchett, Mary Lou Retchett, Mary Lou Retchett.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. They were live tweeting, of course, and it's always fun to see your name pop up on Twitter. So it was cool.
So tell us about your first game yesterday. What surprised you?
Well, we came out. So we were playing St. Chuck's. They had obviously just played earlier that day, and so we were hoping to go in for a win. I think we were a little. I think we came out a little bit passive at first, and so that was a little bit disappointing on our end. But it ended up being a pretty good game. We kind of knew who to watch out for. Whiplash is just a phenomenal skater with St. Chuck's, and so we really knew that she was going to be tough for all of our jammers. But we had some new faces on our team. Several girls who have never been to a WFTDA tournament before. Yeah, so we had a little bit of nerves with that.
Right,
so,
right. What do you? Yeah. And I mean, you've been going to tournaments for 4 years, right? So what do you tell the newbies?
We've just been telling them let's just play our game. That's what's important. Yeah. I think those of us who've been on the team before, last year we went up against Gotham in our second game. And so
wow.
I think after you go up against a team like Gotham, and we played like Rose City last year, we played Denver, we played some really tough games last season. And so coming into this tournament, it's just like, okay, you guys, all we have to do is go in, stay calm, play the game that we know how to play. And so I think it was getting out those first game jitters, really. But yeah, that's really, we've all been playing together all season. We have a home team season 2. We all know how to work together and play together. And so it was just a matter of getting those nerves out, I think.
Yeah. And then getting beat up a couple times and then like hitting somebody. And then it's like, all right, I'm in,
Yeah. And, tournament time too, you always kind of have to go in and see how the ref crew is. And you kind of, figure that. Like you have to navigate through a lot of things for the first few jams. So I think that was a little bit of what was going on with us yesterday.
So you are primarily a jammer.
Yes.
Tell us how you're feeling right now.
I feel strong, and I was off for about a month just with a muscle strain and some tendonitis in my ankle. And when I came back from that, I personally was just hungry, ready to go back and just start proving myself again and making sure I hadn't lost anything in the month that I had off. Mm-hmm. But, it's been fun. I mean, I always love tournaments. I love the challenge of playing teams. You don't really know, how they're going to play or what to expect. And so, for me as a jammer particularly, you're always a target. So
you think?
Yeah. So there's always a little bit of that, like, okay, who's gonna go after me? Who's gonna be my biggest problem out there? But I'm looking at it like I can take on the world right now, and I feel really good going in. And I believe in our whole team. I believe in every single person who's out there who has my back. I know that they're gonna go out there and do their job, and
right.
I'm gonna do my best to represent my team too and get us ahead.
So what walk us through like what your mental game is, for preparing for a tournament, whether mental or physical, right? Because you there is a physical component, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. There's definitely both of those aspects. In fact, I think that the mental game is usually what's harder for me. I'm pretty small as a jammer. Of course, most jammers are pretty agile,
right.
And the smaller people on the team. And so a lot of that, I've really worked on my cross training this season.
Mm-hmm.
I've been working with a personal trainer this year, and I absolutely love him. He used to play football for Indiana, and so for me that's really exciting because I went into him and was like, listen, you know exactly what I need playing ball. Give me agility, give me speed, give me strength and power. And he was like, I got you. So, and honestly, even working with him, knowing that he knew exactly what I needed, that kind of helped my mental game too, because all of a sudden I was like, okay, he's got my back. He believes in me. I can push myself harder. And I think, as far as just prepping mentally, you just have to believe in yourself and again, believe in your team, your blockers, your other just teammates, everybody who is out there with you. And I think that's one of the biggest things for me is just like, I don't want to let myself down, because if I let myself down, I'm letting my team down too. And so there is a lot of that, like, okay, you just have to be strong just as much, in fact, even more mentally than you are physically.
Right. Anger had something to mention. Comment on.
What do you do different for a tournament that you do for like a regular sanctioned game? Do you do anything different, or are you just kind of going out there treating it the same, or?
For tournaments, we all know how important it is to be rested, and honestly, a lot more endurance and just prepping. We've been preparing all season with endurance and teamwork and strategy and things like that. But as we went into this last few weeks, we were really focusing on, okay, you've got to do endurance on your own time, because at this point we've got to be sound as a team and just knowing how to work together and what that strategy is. And so a lot of it's just been like, okay, on my own, I do my endurance, I do my strength training and things like that. But eating right, hydrating, we've all just been like, drink nonstop water. We have to make sure that our muscles are, everything is prepped, because it is, it's really grueling going into a weekend where you play 3, maybe 4 really, really hard games. Right. And, we were at Clover Cup earlier this year. We played 4 games and we were just beasts for the first 3 games. And then that 4th one hit and it was just like, we are dead. And so we didn't want to have that same situation in this tournament.
And Derby girls can eat after that.
Yeah, we pig out. We go all out afterwards.
So it's more just the prepping for the long tournament as opposed to like going in there with anything different mentally or physically. It's just preparing yourself for a longer workout as opposed to a quick game here and there.
Yeah, but I think as a team too, we built up all season long, so we kind of start with the basics from the start of the season, and then by now, we, especially when you go into gameplay, any kind of gameplay, whether it's just a regularly sanctioned game or a tournament, you see what your weaknesses are, you see what your strengths are, and so you go from there and kind of say, okay, how can we work on this? Whether it's as an individual or as a team, I mean, both are equally important. So we've all just kind of been focusing on what do we need to do to grow from here, and how can we improve as a group.
So who are the skaters on Kansas City Roller Warriors that we should look out for the playoffs?
Well, we have a few faces that I think people are pretty aware of. Bruiser, who I think is coming up in the next segment, she's been one of our longtime veterans. And, if you meet her in person, she's pretty quiet. You would never suspect that she's the beast that she is. But, man, she's hard to stop. Well, as a jammer, when I go up against her, I'm always just like, oh crap, she's tough. So, and then Enigma has been a long time blocker for us. She's kind of a double threat. She can jam if she needs to, but whether she's in a group or out by herself, she's phenomenal. Her game yesterday was just insane. So, if you see her, you'll know who she is. She's got the big like red braids flowing down her back. So. She's phenomenal. We've got like Tough Noogies has been also a longtime veteran.
Tough Noogies.
She has size on her side, but she's also very agile. She's out there she can move like you just wouldn't believe. And so yeah, we've got a few faces out there, and then of course Case Close is another jammer who she's been skating with the league for off and on for a few years, and man, she's crazy. It's nuts how quickly she can get through a pack.
Nice.
And and then we have Reptar, who's she's tiny. Well, actually, she's going by AP Leisure now, which is her real name. But she's quick. She's feisty. She's really tiny, and she can get through any wall. So we have a bunch of people that are really fun to watch, and good to see out there, and just seeing what they can do. You can learn a lot from all of those girls.
So you've got some time before your Houston game.
Yeah.
What do you do with that time, like before your game tonight?
Well, all of us have been just kind of resting. You know, when we're at these tournaments, we try not to go out. I mean, it's fun to see the city, but at the same time, it's like we're here to do business. And so, we'll go get something to eat. We'll try to just rest up. Some of the girls last night were doing ice baths.
Oh God.
We're yeah, it's terrible. It is the worst thing.
This sounds so
planet,
painful.
if you ask me. Yeah, it's awful, but it's. Some of the girls really love doing it because it's so important, to have those muscles rested. So, it just depends. But yeah, mostly people are just kind of resting and mentally preparing and making sure that we're in a good mental headspace before we go out there.
Do you guys go out there and like watch some of the other teams during the tournament? Do you like go and cheer for do you have any teams like you're cheering for? Or do you watch any other teams just to?
Yeah, we definitely go and watch some of the other teams. A lot of times we just buy the feed so we can watch them from the comfort of our room.
From the comfort of your ice bath.
Yeah, but it is good to, anytime you can watch tournament play, you're watching good derby. And so we like to see who else is out there and what people are doing. Of course, yesterday we had to go watch, the St. Chuck's game so that we could actually see, we wanted to see who we were playing and what we were up against. You have to scope out the other teams.
Scope out the competition.
Yeah, we did Houston yesterday, and we played them earlier this year at Clover Cup too. So, we kind of know what we're up against.
Yeah, we had we had DBC on a few weeks ago. Before,
her name was blowing up my feed yesterday too.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's a sweetheart, and so our team loves it. We've been playing Houston for years, and so they're one of those teams that we absolutely adore. And DBC is she's wonderful and practically unstoppable. So we're gonna see if we can stop her today.
So that I'm so excited to hear. So what else are you looking forward to for the tournament?
Well, we're seeded number 2, and so we're looking at it as like, okay, we at least want to stay where we are. Hopefully, we can take the whole tournament. We just have to get our heads in the right places. And I think that's the biggest thing. We just want to prove to ourselves and to everybody else too that we've got what it takes. That we can walk away with a lot of wins and keep running back up the rankings.
Right.
I think that's really our goal too. We were okay.
Yeah, Anger was talking about that. How you guys are so close.
Yeah, we were okay with starting out the season as or coming into the D2 tournament just because we knew, where we ended last year. Like our second game, we had to skate against Gotham, and we'd gone to the Big O last year, and so we skated against like Texas, and it was really tough for us. And I think mentally we weren't prepared for all of that, and so being able to kind of reset ourselves as a team and say, this is where we are right now, and what can we do to improve upon that. It's been a good season for us because I think, morale-wise, when you're not going up against the Gotham, that's always a good thing. But just, you can learn so much from just, no matter who you're skating against. So,
absolutely.
So I think, for us and kind of having a rebuilding season too, just getting girls some good tournament experience and, you kind of getting their feet wet, with that type of stuff.
Especially if you've got a lot of new faces.
Some of the biggest goals. I'm sorry, what was that?
Well, especially if you've got a lot of new faces that haven't been to tournament before.
Yeah, it's been really good for them. And so, I think just reevaluating our goals as a team, and that's one of the biggest things that has come out of this tournament.
Nice. So you're with our next special guest, which is Bruise Her.
Yes.
And speaking of newbies, she's actually the opposite. She's been skating for 10 seasons now.
Yep.
So if you don't mind, we'll kick. If you don't mind passing the phone on over to her, because it's just awesome that you can just be like, here, let's talk to somebody else.
Right. Yep. It's perfect.
So
okay.
Mary Lou, Wretched, we wish you the absolute best, and thank you so much for getting on the show with us. And if you wouldn't mind, we'd love to talk to Bruiser and get her perspective.
Yep. Thanks so much. And here is Bruiser.
All right. Bruiser, are you there?
Hello?
Hello. Are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, great. Well, we're excited to be talking to you guys. We're Kansas City Roller Warriors. You guys are in Cleveland, Ohio right now. and you are going to be playing in tournaments this entire weekend. You just played last night. You're playing against Houston tonight at 8 o'clock. People, if you guys want to go stream that, wolfda.tv, you can stream it online for a small fee. So what's going through your mind, Bruiser? You know, you're a seasoned veteran. You've been playing for 10 seasons with, you know, you were there when Kansas City Roller Warriors won the 2007 Wolfda Championship. Walk us through 2007. What happened in 2007?
Oh, 2007 was just a lot of fun. Our team was just amazing. We gelled. It was a wonderful family atmosphere. Like, we did everything together, and you know, we were the underdogs. Nobody expected us to do what we did. And I think sometimes the lack of respect that we felt from teams like, oh, Kansas City's not going to do anything, you know, just really lit a fire under us. And we wanted to prove everybody wrong.
And you did.
Yes, and we did.
Nice.
Oh, God. It was wonderful.
And you're looking to do that again this year.
Yeah, we'd like to. Always.
So what are you looking forward to this weekend?
I just, you know, honestly, I just love the competition. I love playing with my team. I love my teammates having successes on the track and being able to celebrate the successes that we have on the track as a team. I mean, I don't know. I love all that.
Wretched mentioned that there's quite a few new faces. You know, as a seasoned veteran, what do you tell those people they're going to the tournament for the very first time?
I tell them it's okay to be nervous because nerves give you a little bit of adrenaline. It's a little bit of adrenaline rush. But you know what? And I just say you're going to screw up. You're going to make mistakes. You always make a mistake or two every single jam. And you know what? There's always another jam. And just as long as we're playing together and playing our game, like, we will succeed.
Nice. And what are you seeing in terms of like play? You know, I know that one of the biggest changes that we've seen in Derby has been the complete stoppage by walls. You know, are you seeing a lot of rotation? Like, what have you witnessed this weekend? What has maybe surprised you from some of the teams that you might have seen play?
I don't know. I don't feel like the gameplay has really changed a lot since last year. I think it's kind of been the same. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think more people are having braces, like having somebody backwards and bracing walls, like more and more of that's been happening from last year to this year. Like Victoria, really does that really well. So I think a lot of teams saw that last year and really have been practicing on it this year and working on it.
Nice. And so curious, what is your preparation for a tournament? You know, Wretched was talking about how, you know, she's got a mental game and a physical game she focuses on. How do you prepare for, you know, a weekend full of Derby?
I just make sure I get plenty of rest. I'm drinking lots of fluids. I'm eating good, healthy meals. Try not to eat, you know, junk food. And
which I can imagine is a little hard on the road, right? Because you guys are like out in a new city and.
Yeah, absolutely. It is really hard to try and be healthy because, you know, you don't have a kitchen to cook in and stuff like that. But it's, you know, you do what you can. You try and get a refrigerator in your room and keep some healthy snacks in there. And, you know, the biggest thing is just getting a really good breakfast in, and then, you know, decent lunch. You know, when we play at 8 o'clock at night, I try and get a really heavy breakfast, like really good breakfast in. And
so describe to us like what the venue looks like. What, you know, what are people saying? What do you hear? Like, what's the buzz going on right now in Cleveland?
Well, the venue is gorgeous. It's an older building. It has like the ceiling is like glass, I don't know, window tiles or something. And they're red and blue, but light comes through it. So it's really cool. It's like stained glass ceiling almost.
Wow.
But the floor is a poly-coated wood floor. So it's like a floor you would see in an older skating rink.
Okay.
And it's an amazing floor. Kansas City loves the floor because it's exactly what we practice on all the time.
Nice.
So it's like they took our practice floor and brought it here to Cleveland with us. So we are loving it.
Have you run into anybody that that you might have played with before, or any old friends that you might have seen?
DBC from Houston.
Nice.
Love her. Can't say enough good things about her. Jenna Tees from OKVD. She's pretty cool. I got to hug her and talk to her for a couple minutes. But I was at the venue for the game yesterday, and kind of was in my own head mentally preparing. So I haven't done a lot of hanging out. I try and stay in my own head when I have games.
Well, and I think it's something that we've kind of noticed is from talking to both of you guys is like you're there to play and to win, and that's your primary focus.
Yes.
Cleveland, cool for the weekend, but you're there for a tournament. Like that's what you're about. Yes. This is what you've trained for. This is this is the reason that you're here, and then keeping that mentality that the hive, right? Yes. Like we're all in this together. This is what we're here for, and we're going to come out on top, and we're going to do our best.
Yes.
That's super exciting, man.
It's business time. It's business, I mean, Derby's fun, but we got to take care of business.
So do you now you guys play in tournaments, and obviously, do you guys have, or what do you do outside of Derby, back home?
You mean?
Yeah, like what so you have you're playing for Kansas City Roller Warriors, but are you like, also balancing that with work or school or, what other,
I mean, I work full time, and I garden as a hobby too, and it's definitely a balancing act in trying to make sure I do everything. I have to work has to come first. Obviously, I gotta be able to support myself.
Right, and so
pretty awesome.
Where do you work back home?
I groom dogs.
Okay.
I work at a smaller retail business called Brookside Barkery and Bath in Kansas City. They are amazing. I love them.
Nice.
They support my derby. They support my derby hobby, and sometimes they're like, we're not sure. We don't want you getting hurt, but we know you love it, so we want you to do it. So they're pretty great. The owners are amazing.
I mean, I have come across employers that are like, wow, that is so cool. Where's the next game? We'd love to come see you. And I've actually had an old boss of mine come out and watch me play, and that's exciting.
Yeah.
But it is a balancing act between like, okay, work is a priority, but here we are going into a tournament. I know how important this is to me and to my team, and taking the time to do that. So it's cool to be part of this amazing sport where, you can have both. You can have the derby life and you can have the work life, and you can continue to do that. So we're really, really excited for you guys to be playing in this tournament. Anything else you want to share with us? Any insights, whether it's from a team perspective, whether it's as a veteran that you'd like to, share with us and the listeners who are probably watching the D2 playoffs this weekend as well.
Yeah, I actually have it on my phone right now. I don't know.
I put you on the spot. I apologize.
You did. You totally put me on the spot. So I need more direct questions.
Sure, not a problem. More direct questions. What? So you've played for 10 seasons. What if you were to, write or to share your insight to someone who's just starting off, or someone who has been playing for a few months but hasn't gotten on the team yet? What would you share with them based on what would you tell your fresh meat self? How's that?
I would tell them to continue working hard. Derby can be frustrating, but it's also a lot of fun. You go through frustrating moments in your derby career, but making it through those frustrating moments makes it even better, because then you can see where you've come from and how much you've grown as a player and as a person. And just to always keep trying, no matter how frustrating it can get sometimes. Always keep going. There's always the next jam.
Always the next jam. You heard it from Bruce Herr, Kansas City Roller Warriors. Good luck on your game tonight. We don't know who to root for because we're both huge fans of both Houston and Kansas City. But we wish you guys the best, and we'll be following the playoffs, and we hope you guys do extremely well, and maybe we'll be watching you in D1 or even or the
All right.
championships.
All right. Thank you so
All
much.
right, thanks, Bruiser, and stay tuned next week, guys. We're gonna have Santa Cruz Roller Girls, who is also just in this tournament in D2, and that was your episode of Rink Rash Radio.
You're listening to Rink Rash Radio on 247miami.tv.